Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, Head Currency Analyst. In this video I'm going to take you through the Forex market wrap. We're going to highlight the charts that we were looking at this week and some news that was released. So starting off with the news, I've added a little bit more data into this now because we only really had a couple of high impact data sets that we were looking at. One of those was the US CPI for month on month. And what we saw was a increase once again in the month of April by 0.3%, and then the core CPI went to 0.6%. Now this was obviously way below previously for the CPI month on month. For the core CPI it was an increase, but it's still an increase in inflation regardless of whether it was only a small increase. It was a decent increase once again. So dollar remained fairly strong after that point and has continued. The only downside I've seen for the dollar was some unemployment claims. We can see that the unemployment claims have actually increased to 203,000, and that is to be expected. Inflation rising and Federal Reserve are hiking rates. So unemployment should grow in the US, and that's kind of one piece of data that is kind of suggesting that it is with 203,000 claiming unemployment claims. So moving on, some of the charts that we were looking at this week, the pound was one of those. Obviously, we're very bearish on the pound at the minute due to the recent Bank of England statements, but because of the US dollar being at the sort of key highs as well, being very bullish. Now, didn't really get the reaction on the dollar index that we were quite expecting. We are still expecting a bit of a reversal to come in, and it's still early days on that just yet. But this has seen pound price continue to the downside this week. We broke through some key major lows, consolidated for a large majority of the week, and then we've just dropped through recently and this started to consolidate again. But it's looking likely that we could start to come back and retest a few of these levels up here. That's if we did start to see that dollar index flip and close back below those key highs. That could produce a bit of buying in here, but pretty much you want to remain bearish on this until something changes, until we get a breakout maybe of these previous highs. Going on to Aussie then. Still bearish Aussie. We talked about potentially coming to retest 0.7 this week. That happened quite early on in the week. Price pretty much shot straight down to it in the first day of trading. We then saw price below it, and then price fail at that level. Once again, this would have offered really good shorting opportunities at that 0.7 major level on Aussie US dollar, which has seen further declines for the currency pair. So trading below it now. The only thing I'd look for next week is one or two things to happen. We're either going to come back up, retest, reject again, drive a little bit lower, or we're going to rally up and close back within. If we rally up and close back within, potential reversal on the cards here. Strength meter still suggesting Aussie down, so you want to be looking at Aussie weakness still, which brings us on to Euro Aussie, still favouring Euro Aussie longs. We're close to a key area now, 153.39. We're close to sort of this high as well. We just haven't quite tested it yet. So I'm expecting some kind of momentum move to this sort of area here. Obviously, lots of selling came in at that point, which would have been driven by institutions and whatnot, because those are the only people that can turn the market as they have done. So, what's going to happen here basically? Is there sellers still there, or is that going to be an area where price then kind of trades through and moves to the upside? So, looking for some further opportunities here. We spoke about it breaking out of this consolidation last week. We were looking for some retests down at 148.20s. Didn't quite get that. Price continued to push higher with that initial Aussie weakness to 0.7, and then price has pretty much consolidated. So watching this kind of area down here around about 1.5, if price can get down into that, reject could offer some short-term long ideas. Finally then, the S&P 500, we were talking about how bearish the stock markets have been this week. That is in a very aggressive sell. Institutions will be watching this and very, very carefully. It's because the price is moving nicely to the downside, and, what you want to be looking at as a retail trader is where are sort of, or institutions will turn price when sort of lots of orders can be taken in the market, essentially. So you can see these kind of key areas matter quite often. Down through here, for instance, and we've come back into another kind of area where we could find some support. There was a little bit of bearishness here previously before price shot through it. So around about the 3,950 mark, if price can stay above that, there could be an opportunity to trade higher. What I'd want to see is breaks of these key swing highs, really, mainly these ones down through here. Those would be the more important ones to see price trade through. Alternatively, watch reactions back down at the lows. If price starts to come back to the low, there could be a big chance to be a long opportunity from those lows. So I hope you enjoyed the content this week. If you did, leave the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more Forex trading content, and I'll speak to you in the week ahead analysis video.